What if I told you that the more you chase his attention, the less he thinks about you? But the women who get deeply missed, they don't chase. They master 11 very specific moves. And once you adopt them, you become unforgettable. This isn't about manipulation. It's about magnetism. It's not about silence for punishment. It's about presence with power. If you've ever wanted a man to miss you badly, not just out of routine, but from deep emotional craving, this is how. Let's break it down. Have you ever caught yourself just staring at your phone, hoping to see his name appear, wondering if he's even thinking about you at all? Let's start with something honest and maybe a little hard to hear. If he's not missing you, it's likely because there's nothing in his emotional world reminding him that you're special, truly different from anyone else he's met. And no, this isn't because you weren't attractive enough, smart enough, or loving enough. The real issue might be the opposite. You were too easy to reach, too generous, too obvious in your affection. Here's the truth that most people won't tell you. Men don't miss someone they believe they already fully understand or control. What sticks in their mind is mystery, presence, and something they can't easily explain or predict. If you're watching this, chances are you're tired of the confusion. You're ready to stop running after love and start drawing it in naturally. You want to stop waiting and instead see him coming to you. This video is about to completely change how you think about that, because once you learn the 11 small but powerful behaviors that make men feel emotionally connected and drawn to a woman, you'll never wonder again, why hasn't he messaged me? You'll already know how to leave a deep impression, even without a single word. So stay with me, don't scroll away. The next few minutes might completely change how men behave toward you from this point forward. To understand how to make someone truly miss you, you need to understand what actually causes that feeling in the first place. It's not just about being gone. It's about what happens in the emotional and mental space when someone isn't around. Missing someone is a chemical and emotional reaction in the brain, not just a casual thought. It happens when deep connections, past memories, and emotional needs come together to create a pull that's hard to ignore. When a man starts missing you, it's usually because certain chemicals are being triggered: oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. Oxytocin helps people feel close and safe. It's the bonding hormone. Dopamine is all about pleasure, excitement, and the feeling of being rewarded. Serotonin helps control mood and general happiness. Together, these chemicals create a strong emotional reaction that keeps a person on his mind, even when you're not around. But this isn't only about what's happening in the body. The way our brains remember things is just as important. If you create good, meaningful memories with a man, ones full of joy, laughter, warmth, and passion, his brain connects you to those feelings. When he hears a certain song, smells a scent, or visits a place where you spent time together, his brain may light up with those feelings again. This is how emotional longing starts. His brain wants to feel that high again, and you're now tied to it. There's another factor most people overlook: the effect of mystery and surprise. When you're always available, always predictable, his brain has nothing new to look forward to. The reward system in the brain shuts down because it doesn't have to work for your attention or your presence. But when there's a bit of uncertainty, a sense of surprise, his brain becomes more active. It starts trying to fill in the blanks. And that kind of mental activity makes him think about you more, not less. This is why always being available often works against you. It lowers your value in his emotional experience. And finally, never underestimate emotional impact. If a man feels truly seen, appreciated, or emotionally safe with you in a way that feels different from anyone else, that's something he'll carry with him even when you're not around. It's not about looks or perfection. It's about creating emotional value that sticks in his heart and memory. When you get this mix of chemistry, connection, and psychology right, you become unforgettable. You create a kind of presence that lingers long after you've walked away. When it comes to making a man feel your absence deeply, it all begins with your energy, especially feminine energy. This doesn't mean changing yourself or acting fake. It's about unlocking the part of you that's naturally powerful and magnetic, the kind of energy that doesn't chase but attracts. It's gentle, confident, and deeply present. Feminine energy doesn't mean being passive. It means being in tune with yourself and moving through life with self-trust and grace. Think of it like this. Masculine energy is about pushing, chasing, and doing, while feminine energy is about being, allowing, and inviting. When you stand in your feminine energy, you send a clear message without saying a word. I'm already whole. I'm not here to beg or convince anyone to love me. That confidence is what catches a man's attention and makes him feel curious. It gives him the space to lean in instead of pulling away. One of the most common mistakes women make is falling into masculine behavior in relationships. Being too controlling, always taking the lead, demanding answers or commitment too soon. Even if those actions come from a place of love, they can create imbalance. A man might feel overwhelmed, not because you're wrong, but because you're leaving no room for him to approach you. Instead, if you relax into your feminine energy, everything shifts. The attraction becomes magnetic rather than forced. To step into this energy, start by listening to your emotions. Allow yourself to feel without trying to fix everything immediately. Show your vulnerability, but only in spaces that feel safe. Use soft eye contact, gentle body language, and easy smiles to communicate openness. Let your voice be calm and warm instead of anxious or rushed. These small things send big messages. Also, make self-care a daily practice and not just the outside stuff. Nourish your creativity, your spirit, your passions. When you feel lit up from within, it shows. You'll carry a quiet confidence that draws people in. You don't have to be flawless, just comfortable in your own skin and connected to your essence. That's what truly attracts men, not just in the moment, but in the moments when you're gone, and he can't stop thinking about you. This kind of energy leaves a lasting impact. It makes you the person he thinks of at night, the one he compares others to, and the one he misses. Not because you're gone, but because of how you made him feel when you were there. This is the first and strongest way to make any man miss you deeply. It's not a trick, it's not a game, it's real, and it's yours to own. If you truly want him to miss you, there's one habit you absolutely must let go of. Chasing him, or constantly needing reassurance. This kind of behavior often feels natural, especially when you care a lot. But it quietly damages the connection and drives men away, even if they don't say it out loud. Chasing can look like sending too many messages, always being the one to initiate plans, or finding small ways to get his attention every time he pulls back. At first, this might seem harmless, but what it actually does is create pressure. That pressure can trigger a man's need for space, and when that need isn't met, he starts pulling away more and more. Why does this happen? Because part of masculine energy is a need for independence, space, and freedom. When those needs are challenged, he begins to feel trapped. Even if you don't mean to do that, his mind links you to stress instead of calm, and that's when the attraction starts to fade. Not because you did something wrong, but because the dynamic doesn't allow room for desire to grow. Letting go of chasing isn't about pretending not to care. It's about stepping back with confidence and knowing your worth doesn't depend on someone else's constant attention. When you stop pushing for connection, you allow it to flow naturally. You give both of you space to breathe. And often, that's exactly when he starts missing you most. A place where he emotionally wants to stay. Always looking for reassurance, or asking things like, "Do you still like me?" or "Why didn't you reply?" lowers your emotional value in his eyes. It signals insecurity and neediness. Two things that turn men off quickly. Men are drawn to confidence and mystery, not clinginess or emotional dependence. When you constantly give validation or chase attention, you unintentionally remove the sense of wonder and make yourself seem predictable, someone who can be easily taken for granted. Instead of chasing him, what if you changed the whole approach? Instead of asking for his time or begging for his attention, you could focus on living a full, satisfying life on your own. Your happiness, passions, and personal goals should become your center. When you radiate joy from within, you naturally become more attractive. You send out the message, "I'm already enough," which makes him want to be part of your world, not because you're asking, but because he chooses to. Another reason chasing rarely works is because it disrupts the emotional balance. Attraction thrives on a gentle back and forth, giving and receiving, approaching and responding. When you're always the one doing the reaching, it takes away the dynamic tension. Men enjoy the feeling of being the one who initiates sometimes. They like the reward of earning affection and the excitement of feeling like they've pursued something worthwhile. So stop chasing, pause the extra texts, stop asking questions he hasn't earned answers to. Let go of overthinking every little thing. Shift your energy inward and remind yourself of your worth. That change alone can turn distance into curiosity, silence into interest, and confusion into desire. It opens the space for him to notice your absence and begin to miss you in ways you may not have imagined before. One of the most powerful tools in making a man long for you is how you communicate. The way you talk, text, and engage with him can pull him closer, even when you're not physically present. Magnetic communication doesn't mean pouring your heart out in paragraphs or constantly messaging him. It's about saying just the right thing at just the right time, in a way that makes him want more. First, understand the value of being brief. When you say too much, especially through texts, it takes away the mystery and makes your presence feel less special. Focus instead on being light, playful, and emotionally interesting. Use short messages that make him smile or wonder, like a playful tease or a glimpse into something exciting you've been up to. These create small emotional spikes, moments of attention and interest that keep him emotionally hooked. Another effective move is to match the way he communicates. If he sends quick casual messages, you don't need to respond with a long paragraph. Mirror his tone and pace. This builds subtle rapport. It makes him feel understood, like you're on the same page. But occasionally change your tone. Add a little humor, warmth, or flirty energy. That contrast keeps things fun and unpredictable. Don't forget how powerful silence can be. Knowing when not to respond right away isn't rude, it's strategic. Giving space in conversations makes him feel your absence more clearly. When you're not instantly available, your next message feels more meaningful. This isn't about ignoring him, it's about stepping back gently to give him a moment to realize how much he enjoys your presence. Use words that create feelings. Instead of saying "my day was fine," say something like "today felt like fresh sunshine after days of gray." Vivid words stick in the mind. They create emotional images that linger. And when someone connects those emotions with you, they miss more than your words. They miss your energy. Always end interactions on a light, positive note. A sweet message, a little joke, or something simple like "can't wait to share more later" leaves the door open for him to come back. That energy stays with him. It makes him think about you after the conversation ends. Mastering this kind of communication helps you leave emotional fingerprints, making him miss your words and your presence in a deeper way. The real secret to making a man long for you isn't just about what you do when you're together, it's about how you manage being apart. It's a balance between presence and absence. This has nothing to do with games or manipulation. It's about understanding emotional space and using it wisely. When you're always there, responding fast and saying yes to everything, your presence becomes too predictable. Even if it's out of love, too much of you can water down the excitement. We as humans love contrast. We value what we miss. Think about how we only truly notice a sound when it stops, or a person when they're suddenly quiet. The same idea applies here. When you're not always around, he begins to miss the unique way you make him feel. He remembers your laugh, the way you speak, the way you made him feel like he was the only one in the room. Suspense has power. When you pull back with grace, not out of anger but from self-respect, you give him the chance to realize your emotional value. He misses not just the fun or conversations, but the emotional space that only you could create. This absence is not about punishment or being cold. It's about giving him space to feel your worth without you needing to prove it constantly. Presence, though, is just as powerful when used wisely. It's not about quantity, it's about how present you are in those moments you choose to share. Being deeply attentive, warm and real when you do connect makes those moments feel special. It's about showing up fully, with love, confidence and clarity, and letting that moment leave a mark. When you find the rhythm between presence and absence, it becomes a kind of emotional dance. A natural flow of giving and pulling back that activates his deeper feelings. You become the one he thinks about, not because you're always in his face, but because when you are there, it's unforgettable. So let go of the pressure to always be available. Instead, show up fully when you do choose to connect, and step back with grace when you need space. That combination alone can make you the kind of woman a man misses more with each passing day. Becoming mysterious is one of the most powerful ways to make a man think about you constantly. But mystery doesn't mean playing games or hiding who you really are. True mystery is about being real while still keeping some space for curiosity. It's about letting him discover new things about you over time, not dumping your entire story all at once. Mystery works because it makes you feel layered. When someone believes they know everything about you from day one, they stop being curious. But when you share parts of yourself slowly, in an authentic way, it makes him want to keep coming back. He starts thinking, what else is there to know? That question, that hunger for more, creates emotional attachment. To become mysterious in the right way, you need balance. You want to be open enough to build trust, but not so transparent that there's nothing left to wonder about. You don't need to share every emotion, thought, or past experience right away. Let him earn pieces of your heart gradually. That process makes every moment shared feel earned, not given away easily. Revealing your story in layers keeps the spark alive. Share bits and pieces that show your dreams, values, and passions without giving away everything all at once. This kind of mystery encourages him to stay engaged, curious, and excited to keep learning about you. Holding back just enough keeps him emotionally invested. Another great way to stay mysterious is by keeping your independence intact. When you're involved in your own hobbies, friends, and passions, things he's not always a part of, you naturally create space for him to wonder. Men are attracted to women who aren't completely available every second. Your active, fulfilling life tells him that your time is valuable, which makes your presence in his world feel rare and special. The way you talk or text also adds to the mystery. Don't feel like you have to respond instantly or explain everything in detail. A little teasing or vague excitement can go a long way. Try saying something like, "Today was wild. I'll tell you about it later." That keeps him interested and looking forward to your next message. You don't need to hide anything. Just don't give everything away too soon. Mystery doesn't mean being dishonest or playing games. It's about having strong boundaries and keeping some things sacred to you. This is what makes you captivating. When you stay mysterious in this honest, subtle way, you leave a lasting mark on his memory. He thinks about you when you're not around, wonders what you're doing, and starts to miss you even more. That curiosity creates emotional desire, and that desire grows with time and space. In today's world where almost everything is online, your social media can either push him away or pull him in. The way you use your social platform sends a message, and when done right, that message makes him think about you long after he logs off. Social media isn't just about updates, it's a space to show the energy and life you bring into the world. First, use it to highlight how full and exciting your life is. You don't need to post about your relationship or how much you miss him. Instead, share moments that show confidence, fun, and independence. Post a photo from your trip, a night out with friends, a moment of peace during your self-care routine, or something creative you're working on. All these things silently say, "I'm thriving," and that message is powerful. You also don't need to post all the time. A few well-chosen posts here and there are more effective than daily updates. A playful photo with a witty caption or a subtle story hinting at something fun will have him wondering what you're up to. This curiosity is what keeps him emotionally tuned into your world and missing you when he's not part of it. Avoid using social media to constantly check in on him or prove your worth. Don't go overboard with likes, comments, or multiple story replies. A light touch is more attractive. Like one of his posts here and there, or leave a thoughtful comment occasionally. Keep your interest soft, not overwhelming. The less you chase online, the more space he has to lean in. And don't forget to keep your online presence real. People are drawn to what's genuine, not what's perfect. You don't need filters or flawless posts to impress him. Just be yourself, the version of you that's happy, expressive, and true. Leave a few things off social media too. Let him wonder what you're doing and who you're with. That silence between posts can be louder than any words. When used with care, your social media becomes a quiet but powerful way to stay on his mind. The things you share, and even what you don't, make him feel your energy even when he's not near you. Now here's something that feels strange at first but is one of the most powerful tools of all. Giving him space. It might feel like the opposite of what you should do if you want him to miss you, but it's actually the most direct way to create longing. Space doesn't mean ignoring or punishing. It means showing respect for his freedom and for your own self-worth. When a man feels smothered by too many texts, calls, or expectations, his natural instinct is to pull back. That doesn't always mean he's losing interest. Often it means he needs room to process his feelings without pressure. Men need quiet time to think clearly, and if they don't get that, they start to associate the relationship with stress instead of peace. When you give him room to breathe, you send a quiet message. I trust you. I'm not going to chase you. That trust builds attraction and makes him feel safe coming back. This distance also creates room for emotion to grow. It lets his brain and heart start to miss the comfort, fun, and warmth you brought into his life. And the less you push, the more he starts to pull. This doesn't mean cutting off communication completely. It means giving attention without losing yourself in it. Focus on your goals. Hang out with people who make you laugh. Stay connected to your own joy. When you're living a full life, you shine differently, and he notices. That light makes him want to come closer, not because you're chasing, but because you've become magnetic. You can even explain this space gently and honestly. Let him know that it's not about walking away, it's about keeping things healthy and balanced. When you communicate with maturity and calm, it shows emotional strength, and that strength is unforgettable. This space gives him the opportunity to miss you in a real way, not just because you're silent, but because of the feeling you left behind. Now, let's talk about words, not just what you say, but how you say it. Because your words can live in his head long after the conversation ends. They create emotional pictures that stick, that come back when he's alone, and that quietly remind him of you. Words have that kind of power. Instead of giving dry replies like, "I'm okay" or "fine," try using language that sparks emotion. Say something like, "Today felt like a little adventure," or "I had the kind of day that makes you smile for no reason." These sentences don't just communicate, they stir feelings. And feelings are what he'll remember when you're gone. You can also use compliments wisely. Not overdone, but real. Notice something about him and say it simply. "You have a calm way of making everything feel okay." Or, "I like how your mind works." These small comments create positive emotional connections. They make him feel seen. And when someone makes us feel that way, we miss them when they're not around.